Well, hello, and welcome back to Rebekah. This is going to be a very quick and dirty video. Quick, not that kind of dirty, but it's going to be very casual. So I'm here from my reading chair, you can see by the bookshelf, and I thought I would kick off Lovember. We are not doing a 24-hour readathon, so I am not staying up all night, definitely, but I did want to kind of stay up till it rolls over into the 17th when the readathon starts, and kick it off the right way by doing a try a chapter to see which of the books I really want to start with, which is going to give me the best traction into the readathon, really propel me into that. Because while I know pretty well what I'm going to be reading on ebook and audiobook, because I only have a couple options there, I have a lot of options in print. If you missed out, I have my TBR, I'll link it below, but I picked up 15 books from the library. So I have more than I can possibly read in the 2-week readathon. And that means I really want to make some prioritization calls here. So we're going to try a chapter to do that. And I have a stack of books, too many books already. So what I am going to try a chapter for, we've got If the Boot Fits by Rebekah Weatherspoon. We have Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall. We have Anne in Manhattan by Brina Starler. And we've got Digging Up Love by Chandra Blumburg. So those are the 4 I'm going to try a chapter of, and we're going to try to rapid fire read these in the next 15 or 20 minutes, so I don't have to stay up too late. And I think it'll be pretty quick reading. And then I will pause this and check back with you after each book. Cinnamon is not impressed with my project or that I'm staying up late past bedtime. All right, so I finished up the first chapter of Digging Up Love, and it's clearly going to be alternating perspectives because we are getting the character names at the top of the chapter, and we read from Alicia's perspective to start. And she very clearly is a baker, so she seems to be going through kind of a hard time where she wants to leave her family's or her grandparents' restaurant because she's very underestimated there and has been saving up for her own bakery, but she seems like wants to move out and start working somewhere else maybe in the interim. So I didn't get too much other than that. It seemed like she was really going through a hard time. So this was more of a serious start, I would say. It did not start out super fluffy right off the bat. So that's kind of my initial first impression. I did like the character. I think she was really relatable, that she was having the struggle and was really frustrated with the weight and expectations that her family put on her. So I think that is an okay first chapter. All right, so second, try a chapter down with Anne of Manhattan. This was really fun. It starts with a couple of pages, 2-3 pages of Anne giving us diary entries that kind of bullet point her life from Anne of Green Gables' story. So we see her being at different fosters and the struggle she had there, and taking care of the Hammond twins who were horrible, and meeting Diana for the first time, and meeting Gilbert for the first time and really hating him. So that is a very smart way to deal with really quickly giving her backstory, because this doesn't seem to have any of the backstory, because we jump right in to her preparing to go back to start grad school, or her final year of grad school rather. And she's at her apartment where she lives with Diana and one other roommate, Philippa. And her characterization is very true to Anne, I think, in terms of we're in her head. So I definitely love that. I love that the character is so bang on. The setting is changed to contemporary, and Avonlea is a kind of tourist trap in the Hamptons, I guess. so that all is changed, but yet it still rings true. Green Gables is a winery. Interesting. So she obviously helped run that, apparently. And so I really enjoyed this, and I think it was playful. And we kind of ended that first chapter with her and her roommates going out to a board gaming bar, which I love. I'm very into that. And when they get there, who is there but Gilbert, who she hasn't seen for 6 years. So she's definitely thirsting over Gilbert, but not in a steamy way. Like, she's thirsting after his dimples. And so, yeah, it's very appropriately fitting. So really enjoyed this one. I think it surprised me even more than I expected. All right, third tri-chapter down with A Lady for Duke. This was unexpected because it kind of starts where I thought the middle of the book would be based on the synopsis. It starts with Viola having already transitioned and is living as a woman fully, and she has sort of settled into this life with feeling like she's going to live her life isolated and never have love, because she has transitioned, and she's just happy with living with the friends and family that have accepted her, basically. She doesn't want to put herself out there. And so that's very heavy for a first chapter, but the tone and the character are much lighter, and I really enjoyed the characterization, so I think that's really good. And then, so plot-wise, I think the only plot that comes up in this first chapter is that she is with these women when they've received a letter from her former best friend's sister, who is kind of saying, basically, he's so distraught, he's gone over the edge, and I don't know what to do about it, basically. So yeah, so it clearly is that element where she's going to end up getting involved in his life again, and as we know from the synopsis, and convincing him to get over his grief somehow without him realizing that she is actually his former best friend. So yeah, so didn't really get a ton out of this, other than that I do like the character a lot. So on to the next one. All right, so we've swapped to Cozy Bedtime because the electric blanket is here, and finished the final chapter, If the Boot Fits. So this one was another interesting one because it started kind of mid-book for me from what the synopsis gave us. So, Rue, saying hello? Hi, buddy. Did you decide to come for a cuddle? How nice. Yeah, so this starts after our main character has hooked up with the Oscar-winning Sam Pleasant, and that's not what I expected. I expected them to have the run-in first, but so she's leaving and thinking about how great her night was with him and everything, and realizes when she gets to work that she has his goodie bag with his Oscar in it. So I think this was the most dynamic of all the books that I read. There was almost entirely plot in this. It was her thinking through everything that happened. So we're getting all of the plot that isn't actively happening, that's already happened, and why they had a connection. So yeah, I think this one had a real life to it that the other ones didn't. So Rue wants to help me pick. Yeah, so this is a tough one because I obviously wanted to read this one the most. I like the character. I like the character for both of these, but I didn't like the plot as much. So I think those ones are not going to be my first book. So these two, I think I liked about equally. This one had the most propulsive plot to it, and this one was just fun to read. So I think I'm going to go with If the Boot Fits as my first pick, because I kind of know and trust that Rebekah Weatherspoon is going to pull me along, and this clearly had great plot. So If the Boot Fits is going to be my first read for Lovember. Let me know what you are kicking off your Lovember reading with, and hopefully we are all going to have a great Lovember Readathon. Good luck and happy reading.